All right, we'll continue tracking developments on the political front, but the big story that we're tracking this evening on headlines today, a naval officer has been killed on board the brand new destroyer called Kolkata. The vessel was scheduled to be commissioned with the Indian Navy this month. The naval destroyer Kolkata is officially called Yard 701. An officer of commander rank has reportedly been killed in the accident that took place at about 1 this afternoon. The accident reportedly involved the emergency response system on board the vessel. The commander of the engineering department of the vessel was killed because of a possible malfunctioning of the firefighting system in the engine room of the destroyer. Our sources in the Navy have confirmed that the officer died due to asphyxiation following a carbon dioxide leak. A board of inquiry has been set up to probe the accident. Other dock officials have also reportedly been injured in the accident. They've been taken to hospital and we now know that they are in stable condition. The Mazgaon Docks Limited, where the vessel was parked, has also issued a statement, and I quote from it now: Yard 701 being built by MDL while undergoing machinery trials in MBPT had a malfunction in its carbon dioxide unit leading to gas leakage. One naval officer and some MDL personnel were affected and have been hospitalized. Of course, this statement came before news of the officer's death. The accident reportedly took place at about 1 p.m. this afternoon in the Mazgaon dockyard. We've been speaking to strategic and defense experts here on Headlines today. Here's what they had to say.
Extreme sadness, Simi, because if one more naval officer has died in this manner when a ship is being constructed, coming in the wake of the INS Sindhuratna, where again the Navy had lost 2 officers, it is a moment of extreme sadness and anguish for the Navy, for the family, for friends, and the entire, I would say, community.
I don't think in the history of the Indian Armed Forces has there been such a recurring series of accidents and incidents as have happened now, unfortunately, tragically, in the Indian Navy.
All right, let's get in a word from our correspondent Vikas Mishra, who's joining us on the phone line. Vikas, you earlier told us that the other officers and dockyard workers who were injured were taken to hospital. They are now in stable condition. What's happening at the scene of this accident now?
The scene of the accident, where exactly is the Navy officer, senior officers of the Mumbai dock and the senior officer of the defense has been there on the spot, and they are trying to investigate the matter, what exactly happened and how the whole incident took place after the board of inquiry was ordered. So that's the scene right now, and apart from that, the family member of the death Navy officer has been informed, and they have also been rushed to Mumbai. So that's what right now the scene is, and what exactly we are learning from the Navy sources is that the other officers were there, they are stable, and they might be discharged from the hospital anytime soon. Back to you.
All right, and Vikas, as far as the family of the officer is concerned, do we have a confirmation now that the family has been involved, and what's the procedure that we're going to see as far as his last rites are concerned?
Officially, they have not yet confirmed the whole incident, but senior Navy officers whom I spoke to have said that the officer is dead, but still we are waiting from the Navy spokesperson to confirm the death of the officer, but the senior Navy officers off record has confirmed that the officer, the commander rank officer has been declared dead by the hospital officials, where he was taken after the whole incident took place, and due to the injury that he got onto his chest after there was a sudden blast inside in the engine compartment, there he was declared dead. But still, in the next 30 to 40 minutes, it will be official information will come from the Navy that the officer dead.
And Vikas, this vessel was yet to be commissioned to the Indian Navy, so basically the responsibility would lie on the Ministry of Defence Production Unit.
There are two agencies involved. There's also the Mumbai Port Trust was involved in this whole things which was taking place over there because what I'm learning from the Navy sources and the MDL officials that the whole work on the ship was done and it was supposed to be commissioned in next few weeks. But when the whole incident took place, it was about around 12:45 when the whole incident started, and when the whole incident it happened inside the engine room when the officer, the Navy rank officer, was there, and the whole incident happened, and he got the injury on the stairs. After which he was declared dead, and there were three other officers who were there with him when the incident took, and they were suffocated due to the gas which was leaked inside the engine compartment. But safely, they were rescued and they were taken to a hospital where they were declared they were declared stable by the doctors. And right now, the investigation is going on how the whole incident took place, and then it is being a series of incidents which is happening in the defence. So it is really a matter of concern for the defence as well as Mumbai Port Trust. Back to you.
Absolutely. And Vikas, the Navy is going through a tough time now. The tragic loss coming against the backdrop of the Sindhuratna tragedy, where the Navy again lost two other officers. There is something that we've been talking to defense experts, and they're saying that there's also probably need for the Navy to examine all these 11 incidents, not in isolation but together, and also explore security aspects.
Simi, if I can take you back last year in the month of August, when the INS Sindhuratna incident took place, there were 18 people who lost their lives, and after that INS Sindhuratna, there was a fire in both of the incidents where several people lost their lives. In this incident, there was only there was a death of only one officer, but it's really major concern because the way defense is handling the whole matter, the senior officials who have also already spoken to headlines today about exposing that the officer who died in the INS Sindhuratna explained that they were sailing in a submarine which there are several lapses, and it could really turn into a big incident. But the Navy was aware of the whole the malfunction which has happened. They were there in the submarine and as well as in the several incidents. So there is a really very safety concern being raised by the Navy officers themselves, but still no action, and which is resulting in several incidents which has taken several lives, including the one of the Navy officer who has lost his life today. Back to you.
Absolutely. Vikas, stay on with us. Let's also get a word from our correspondent Jugal Purohit, who's joining us on the phone line. Jugal, of course, covers the Defence Ministry for us. Jugal, you're talking about how important this vessel was for the Indian Navy that's been battling with an old armour, literally struggling with it. This is a new asset that it was hoping to acquire in a month's time.
That's correct, Simi. In fact, as we were talking some time back, this vessel has been completely done in the sense of all the works required. What was taking place right now were the acceptance trials. A ship of this type, of this complexity, has different aspects to it in terms of armory, in terms of machinery. It was actually, the ship was at present when the incident took place undergoing the machinery trials, for which a team from the Indian Navy's Western Naval Command was on board, a part of which was this officer who was also a part of the commissioning crew of the ship. They were being shown the fire safety system, which is when, as we are given to understand, one of the valves malfunctioned, and this particular officer actually happened to trip, fall, and then accidentally inhale the carbon dioxide gas. There were also two more personnel from the MDL, which is making the ship, who were there, but they're now believed to be safe. So the only sad aspect is that not only has a ship of this complexity size, been further taken away from the Indian Navy by this incident, because there will obviously be an inquiry, there will obviously be a probe to actually find out just what took place. It could perhaps push the commissioning dates, but we also lost a trained officer who was actually in charge of the engineering works for the ship. He was a part of the commissioning crew, as I said. And very importantly, Simi, what needs to be understood, and the distinction that needs to be drawn, is that while all the previous incidents were on board naval platforms, this ship was not, as of now, the baby of the Indian Navy. The ship was very much within the Ministry of Defence's Defense Production Department, which is headed by a secretary. An IAS officer cadre secretary is the one who is in charge of this department. The Mazgon Docks Limited is one one of the DPSUs, that's Defense Public Sector Undertaking, which functions under this Department of the Defense Ministry. So this case, in that sense, is very, very different from what we've seen in the past, and this time around the Navy is not so much in the picture vis-a-vis what happened in the old issues related to age and otherwise. This time around, the entire situation was well within the department and the purview of the Ministry of Defence's defense production, and tough questions need to be asked about the defense production department. What is it likely to do now? Whether it's going to probe this incident, whether it will lead to some kind of a change of the way they function. Because remember, Navy has had a problem with the timelines as far as the delivery of ships is concerned. Was it on account of some haste which was shown, undue haste in getting the vessel ready and handed over to the Indian Navy?
Right.
These are different questions, but as I was only trying to make our viewers understand that this ship was not the Indian Navy's baby just yet. It was still very much within the Ministry of Defence's Defense Production Department's purview and ambit when this incident took place, and it is to them that all these questions will be addressed.
All right, Jugal, putting this in perspective for us, this ship was yet to be commissioned to the Indian Navy. It was still the responsibility of the Ministry of Defence's Production Department and the Mazgaon docks. Jugal, thanks so much for that update.